Welcome back on this glorious and amazing day, and a shout out to my subscribers and listeners from Brooklyn, New York. Nice to see you guys again. So we're about to dive in after so many weeks and months about describing why we are disconnected from ourselves. That causes the lack of inner happiness, joy, and tranquility. But before that, there's something that I mentioned last week about how to respond to children's questions. And I said to myself, although this is not directly on topic, but this is so imperative, I would like to spend some time this week to discuss one topic about children's questions, which is not directly connected to nurturing their self-confidence and their core. And this is very, very, very interesting and perhaps even very confusing because, as I always say, and I don't mention it a lot on these recordings, but humans are like onions, where what you see is true. But just like as in an onion, what you see is true as well, but then you peel off one layer and suddenly you see a different layer. And then you think this is the onion, this is the person, but no, you could then peel off the second layer. And I didn't Google it, but I would guess there's 10 to 15 layers within the onion, and maybe there's more layers within the human being. And those that have studied or do study neuroscience know the complexity of human beings. This will be a little bit of a complex issue, but once you tap into it, it will be beautiful, and it will help you bond better with your children or even friends. This might not even be just with children, it can also be with adults as well. So like we spoke several times, there's the conscious mind and there's the subconscious mind. There's the conscious mind is that I know what decision I will be making and I'm very aware of what's going on. And then there's the subconscious mind is where I do things or I don't even realize that I do it, or I do it and I don't know the real reason of why I'm actually doing it, but we just want to do it. And we could spend hours, if not days, discussing that. There are times that a child or even an adult will approach you with a question not because they want to know the answer. This is the deeper layers of the onion. They're not really even interested in your answer. So why are they asking you a question? Well, it'll take me 20 minutes, but I'll try to give it to you in 1 minute. They basically want to bond with you. They want to connect with you. And since most of us don't really know how to bond with our children, I want to skip all the details, just get straight to the point. So one of the ways, well, there's two typical ways that children will get to bond with you. One is by actually making trouble or starting up with another sibling. Not only do they get you, but they get your emotions, they get your anger, they get you. So how much you try to get your parents' attention, it's later, it's tomorrow, it's I'm busy, yeah, what do you want? Oh, you keep on asking me the same thing. There's always an excuse. And subconsciously, obviously the child doesn't want to get punished, but subconsciously we do certain things that our father and mother get so angry, but a part of us, if you believe it or not, actually is excited about it because at least they're into us. They notice us. They're getting passionate about us. We have that connection. And one of those connections are through questions. So a child can come to you and what you might think is a trivial question, a stupid question, like what does this kid want? Like, why is he just nagging me with all these questions? But that is not the top layer of the onion. The top layer of the onion, I'm looking for information, so I'm asking you a question. But sometimes you get the sense it's not that the child or even your spouse or your friend wants the answer to the question, because once you're done with one question, you could see them sitting there and thinking like as if they're trying to make up questions. There's a very, very fascinating story that happened with me personally. One of my clients, a very, very smart woman working in a lawyer's office, And the session basically was about her feeling of hurt, emotional rejection, because when she asks her superior about different complex issues, the guy gets upset at her and says, "You could figure this out." And as a human being, and especially a sensitive human being, she was extremely felt hurt and rejected, and she spoke to me about it. And as we're talking and I'm listening to all the details, I didn't ask a question out of judgment. I asked a question as I'm trying to work through with her. And I asked her, based on our previous conversations, you are a very brilliant person. Not only you're a very brilliant person, you could be your lawyer in your own merit. Plus, you have this amazing talent that you figure things out. You go online and you Google and you search, and what could take people a longer time takes you so quickly. You're a very curious person. So, I'm not judging you, I asked her, but why is it when you have these questions, what is it that you go to your superior and you ask him the question? And she's sitting there and thinking and thinking. At first she didn't know that obviously, well, it's not so obvious, but once you know it, it's obviously, whenever people do something and they don't know why, always think about, what feeling do I have? What feeling do I have? So when people come to me and they say, why am I doing this absurd stuff? And obviously judgment, because we're used to just go straight to judgment. I stop the judgment right away. And then I basically focus what feeling. So with this woman, with the secretary, I asked her, what feeling do you have? Because obviously, based on the top layer of the onion, you shouldn't be going to this guy to ask him questions, because you could figure it out yourself and you're actually very good at it. So must be, we got to go to the second layer. The second layer is very simple. What feeling do you have when you actually ask this guy the question? And the answer came up within a second. This person was a very, very social person. So she didn't even realize herself, she wants to bond with someone in the office. She wants to talk to someone. She wants to go through, and meeting up with another human being, having a discussion, a question and answer meant a lot for her. If she sits in her little cubicle in her little office and does all the work and basically doesn't talk to people, yes, that's what she came here to do. But there's a part of her that she wasn't aware, that she wasn't connected, and that is the part that she wants to bond. So subconsciously, on the second layer, she goes, I want to talk to this guy. I want to talk to anyone. I have a good question. I 100% do not know the answer to this question. So let me go to this person, let me ask this person, and then they'll give me the answer, because he knows way better than me, and then at least I can have my 30 seconds or 190 seconds, I could bond with another human being. And that smile on her face when she came to realize what she wanted, what she did, and why she did it, gave her sort of that, not sure what word to, gave her that peace that she's not crazy, she's normal. So too, with loved ones, especially with children, there's no such a thing of a stupid question. And if it's what's apparent a stupid question, that's only from the first layer of the onion. But if you go to the second layer, there's a very, very good chance that they want to bond with you. So last week I said something that caught my attention, not when I was recording it, but after I listened to my own recording. At one part of the video, I basically said that if the child does not know the answer, encourage them to find out the answer on their own, and then they can feel good that they didn't know, and on their own they figured it out. And that's why I created this video, because it doesn't always exist that way. You got to be very careful to balance. Are you building the self-confidence by them figuring it out? Or is it now a time for you and your child or your lover to bond? Because maybe it's not about telling them to go and figure it out on their own. But it's something that I can't tell you black and white. It's an energy that you're going to have to learn or pick up on your own. What is necessary now? Is it the building of confidence that they could do it on their own, figure out the answer on their own by searching online? Or is it now it's a time to bond? Life is not simple. There is more that's written between the lines than in the lines themselves with the ink. When a human being asks you a question, it might not be they're asking you a question. It means they might mean that they want to bond with you. Thanks so much for listening. And please always do remember that you are truly way greater than you think you are.